Reading The Sorcerer's Stone for the first time invoked a sense of wonder. It made me envious. I wanted to be whisked away to a magical school and taught the secrets of wizardry. I was immediately engrossed in the details. I could see the school grounds, feel the cold air on the first night, walk the hallways and peek into classrooms. I could hang out in the boys' dormitory, relax in the Gryffindor common room, or even eat in the Great Hall. I could escape to Hogwarts and live an adventure right up until the last bittersweet page. The book draws you in from the first chapter with a mysterious, almost satirical tone. One of the film's omissions is the opening with Vernon Dursley. The bizarre day where he notices strange people in cloaks, hears whispers about a boy named Harry, and starts to panic. That scene sets a tone of ordinary life being slowly invaded by magic before you even meet Harry himself. We follow Vernon down the streets of London, watching his paranoia escalate as owls gather overhead and strangers break out into celebration. The movie skips all of this, opting to get straight to the point. It opens on a foggy night, with Dumbledore meeting McGonagall and Hagrid to leave Harry on the Dursleys' doorstep. It's a powerful image, but one that drops us into the magical world without the eerie transition the book takes time to build. That's the fundamental difference between book magic and movie magic. Book magic engrosses you in the details. It creates a living world full of background activity and layered meaning. Movies, even well-done ones, can only hint at that. At best, the detail gets pushed to the backdrop. If you're lucky, it seeps through visually or emotionally. But the movie will never invite you into the world the way the book does. The Dursleys' cruelty is cartoonish in the book, but vividly specific. And that specificity matters. We learn about Harry's cupboard under the stairs, Petunia's attempt to cut off all his hair except his bangs, the sweater that shrinks, and the time he ended up on the school roof while fleeing Dudley's gang. These moments show not only that Harry is different, but that the Dursleys are terrified of this difference and committed to stamping it out. Their love for Dudley, contrasted with their contempt for Harry, sets the emotional tone for the reader to root for Harry's escape. The movie simplifies this. It keeps the broad strokes. Harry's neglected, Dudley is spoiled, the Dursleys are ridiculous, but it drops the small indignities that make Harry's journey so emotionally resonant. That said, the performances are effective. Audiences still hated the Dursleys, which is a credit to the writing and acting, even without all the nuance. It's worth noting that Rowling had significant creative input in the early films, unlike other fantasy adaptations like, say, The Wheel of Time, which claimed authorial support but failed to convey the heart of the books. When the letters from Hogwarts start arriving, the book plays it like a slow, magical siege. Owls arriving at odd hours, letters slipping through doors and cracks. Vernon nails the mail slot shut and boards up the box. In response, the letters come more creatively, including a moment where a milkman delivers a carton of eggs, each containing a tiny rolled-up scroll addressed to Harry. The wizarding world refuses to be shut out. Vernon eventually snaps. The movie mostly follows this sequence beat for beat, even capturing the moment of complete surrender when letters flood the house from every angle: the fireplace, the chimney, the ceiling. There are some differences. The journey to the shack is shorter, even non-existent, and the shack itself is transformed into a lighthouse. In the book, it's just a windswept hut on a rock, far off the coast. The movie enlarges the space, but keeps the isolation. They travel by car, stay at a hotel, and eventually row out in a boat. The movie compresses this into a single cut. Then, Hagrid arrives. He bursts through the door, delivers Harry's letter, and immediately turns the balance of power upside down. He challenges the Dursleys, reveals the truth about Hogwarts, and treats Harry with warmth and familiarity, like someone who's always belonged in this world. The book gives him more space to explain things and lets his kindness shine through gradually. The movie condenses it all into one dramatic moment, but the heart of it still lands. Hagrid is the first magical person who treats Harry like he matters. Diagon Alley is a brilliant introduction to the wizarding world, and the book fills it with fascinating details. The school supply list gives a glimpse of the curriculum. The goblins running Gringotts are an intriguing, if problematic, take on wizard banking, and Ollivander's wand shop introduces the idea of wand personalities, based on wood, core, and affinity. It's a magical economy that feels structured and real. The movie captures the wonder of Diagon Alley with impressive visuals, but trims the detail. It makes you believe in the place, but doesn't linger. Still, the film does a good job translating the sense of awe, especially through Harry's reactions. Much of the world building is pushed into the background, but it's there if you look closely. In the book, Harry returns to the Dursleys after Diagon Alley and spends the rest of the summer counting down the days, sneaking looks at his books, and dreaming of escape. The movie skips that entirely, cutting straight to King's Cross. Platform 9 3/4 is still there, but the confusion and buildup are trimmed. The train ride gives us our first look at Ron, Hermione, and Neville, and a glimpse of who Harry is around other kids. The arrival at Hogwarts by boat is one of the rare moments the movie gets exactly right. The image of the castle glowing over the Black Lake feels like it was lifted straight off the page. Hogwarts truly comes alive in the book. The Sorting Hat ceremony is more than a rite of passage. It's a moment of choice. It's one of the many moments where the book and film align almost perfectly. In both, the Hat debates placing Harry in Slytherin, and Harry resists, not by fighting, but by simply knowing himself. That internal resistance defines who he is. The movie even lets him whisper his refusal aloud, but the essence is preserved. This isn't just about where he ends up, it's about the kind of person he's already becoming. The book adds texture to the daily life at Hogwarts, the kind of detail that builds immersion. House points are tracked with giant enchanted hourglasses filled with colored gems, giving every victory or mistake a visible weight. Classrooms are full of magical trial and error, levitating feathers, transforming matchsticks, misfiring spells that leave eyebrows singed. The halls echo with students chattering, shifting staircases, and unexpected mishaps. None of this is essential to the plot, but it makes the school feel like a living place. The film captures the look and structure of Hogwarts well, but trims away a lot of that everyday unpredictability. Some scenes are adapted nearly beat for beat. Snape's first lesson is one of them. The pointed questions, the tone, the tension, it's all there. The troll in the dungeon is another faithful moment. It's more than just an action set piece. It's the turning point in Harry, Ron, and Hermione's relationship. They survive danger together, and in the book, Hermione takes the blame to keep the boys out of trouble. That cements their bond. The movie keeps the core of this scene intact, even if the emotional nuance is condensed. Quidditch is a visual highlight. The film brings the game to life in a thrilling, fast-paced way. It also preserves Harry's surprise at being recruited. From McGonagall's sharp tone to Harry's confused reaction, the moment still feels special. What's missing is the build-up. Oliver Wood's extended coaching, the introduction to the rest of the team, the nerves before the match. The book makes Quidditch feel like a tradition Harry steps into, with a mix of awe and anxiety. The movie jumps straight to the thrill. And as for the rivalry between Gryffindor and Slytherin, the film actually handles it well. From Malfoy's taunting to Snape's clear bias to the Quidditch showdown, the tension is established early and stays consistent. The book adds more texture to it, the way it plays out in classes, in point deductions, in dormitory gossip, but the movie communicates the core dynamic effectively. Hogwarts in the film feels real, magical, and iconic, but compared to the book, it's missing some of the chaos, charm, and day-to-day depth that made it feel like a place you could actually live in. The challenges beneath the trapdoor are where the trio's strengths really shine, and where the movie starts making larger sacrifices. In the book, the Devil's Snare scene shows Hermione panicking, trying to remember a scientific solution until Ron reminds her that she's a witch. It's only then that she uses magic to save them, a moment that reinforces both her nerves and Ron's unexpected clarity under pressure. The film flips this, Hermione stays calm and competent, while Ron flails. It's cleaner, but loses the texture. The flying key task gives Harry a chance to use his broom skills, and the wizard's chess game belongs to Ron. He takes charge, positions them to win, and sacrifices himself in a move that's both courageous and heartbreaking. The film gets this right. It's tense, cinematic, and character-driven. But one task is missing entirely: the potion riddle. In the book, this is where logic matters more than magic. Harry and Hermione puzzle out the clues together, and Hermione stays behind so Harry can move forward alone. It's a quiet moment, but powerful. And it rebalances the trio after Ron's big scene. Cutting it for time may have made sense, but it weakens Hermione's role in the final challenge. The final room holds the Mirror of Erised, and the villain. Harry sees himself retrieving the stone, and because he doesn't want it for selfish reasons, it appears in his pocket. It's a moment that defines him. He's not brave because he fights. He's brave because he's willing to act for others, without needing reward. Quirrell's reveal is grotesque in the book. Voldemort's face is grafted to the back of his head like a parasite. I believe the movie captures this perfectly. His voice is cold, whispering, and persuasive. He tempts Harry with promises of power, and Harry resists, not with cleverness or strength, but with the kind of resolve that can't be taught. And in that moment, that's what makes him the hero. The casting in The Sorcerer's Stone is perhaps the film's greatest challenge, and in many ways, it became the blueprint for how fans imagined these characters for decades to come. Daniel Radcliffe's Harry is even more of a blank slate than book Harry. He was chosen for the look and had to grow into the role. All in all, it works. He says and does all the right things, but in the books, we live inside Harry's head. We hear his thoughts, feel his doubts, track his quiet development. In the film, all of that becomes visual, which sometimes makes him seem more reactive than proactive. Still, when Radcliffe shows emotion, especially excitement or anger, the performance feels real, and that contrast helps make the character feel like a real kid. Ron is sympathetic, grounded, and slightly awkward, but in the book, he's also tall, gangly, and deeply loyal. His poor background adds to his relatability. He's not just comic relief, he's the emotional glue. Rupert Grint brings great humor and warmth to the role, even if he doesn't physically match Ron's description. His casting works, especially in this first film, where Ron's contributions are still taken seriously. Hermione begins as an obnoxious know-it-all, not conventionally attractive, overly eager, and desperate to prove herself. That's all driven by insecurity and a desire to belong. When she takes the blame after the troll fight, it marks a turning point. The book leans into that vulnerability. Emma Watson's performance is strong, a little polished and expressive, maybe too confident early on, but she holds the heart of the character. The film smooths out her flaws, but doesn't betray them. Hagrid is described as enormous, twice the height of a man and 5 times as wide. No actor could match that, but Robbie Coltrane captures his spirit. His gruff warmth, deep loyalty, and love for magical creatures all comes through. The physical contrast between his size and his softness is more muted in the film, but the soul of the character is intact. Richard Harris plays Dumbledore as a quiet, gentle scholar, wise and mysterious. He captures the softness, but not the eccentricity. We lose the twinkling eyes, the subtle mischief that defined book Dumbledore early on. Still, his presence is strong, and his interpretation feels earned. Snape may be the most perfect casting in this entire series. Alan Rickman understood the character, cold, sharp, and unsettling from the moment he enters the frame. In the book, Snape is immediately framed as a potential villain, and Rickman walks that line perfectly. His performance adds layers even before the story does. McGonagall is another standout. Maggie Smith balances strictness with warmth effortlessly. She commands every room she enters, but always has Harry's back. When she recruits him after the flying lesson instead of punishing him, It shows that she sees potential through the rules. The film gets that exactly right. The side characters, Draco, Neville, the twins, Seamus, Dean, Quirrell, Filch, are all well cast. Draco isn't as tall or pointy as described, but his smugness and antagonism are spot on. Neville is shy and awkward, but kind-hearted. Fred and George are indistinguishable at times, but full of personality. Quirrell walks the line between timid and sinister, and Filch is every bit the bitter caretaker he's meant to be. Then there's Peeves, technically cast, fully filmed, and completely cut out. His scenes were removed entirely, and he never appears in the series. For a character so central to the spirit of Hogwarts, that absence is still felt, especially here, where the school's personality is being built. The casting overall is strong, and most portrayals remain faithful to the spirit of the books. It's not just that the actors resemble the characters, it's that their performances have become the default images in fans' minds. That's a powerful kind of success, even if a few rough edges were sanded down in the process. Watching the movie after reading the book is pure wish fulfillment. You get to see your favorite moments brought to life, walk the halls of Hogwarts, and meet the characters who defined a generation. But as you watch more closely, or revisit as an adult, you start to notice what's missing. The quiet moments, the background details, the emotional texture behind the plot. Still, this is a strong adaptation. It gets the structure right. It respects the world. The casting is solid, the visuals are iconic, and the tone is close to what the book intended. But it holds back. It trims the texture, skips the small things, and plays it safe. Perhaps afraid to stray too far, but also too rushed to linger. In that way, it's a magical beginning, told through a more ordinary lens. A faithful summary, not quite a lived experience. And while that's enough to spark nostalgia, it leaves you wondering just how immersive it could have been. The films that follow will stray even further, but that's a story for another time.